Okay, today we have the Rollieflex SL66. Well, most of us are only familiar with the Rollie twin lens reflex camera. This one is a single lens reflex camera. Now the story behind this is there were two gentlemen. One is Victor Hasselblad, and he met up with one of the partner of the Rollieflex, and they're having coffee and tea, and they made a gentleman's agreement. Hasselblad will not step into Rollie's twin lens market. Rollie will not step into Hasselblad's SLR market. So Hasselblad only make SLR, they don't make twin lens. Rollieflex makes only twin lens, they don't make SLR. And that went on for quite a number of years until one of the Rollie's partner passed away. Then Rollie came out with this 6x6 medium format SLR camera. Wow, if you compare it against the Hasselblad, it's much bigger, but bigger for the good reason. Now, how Hasselblad was able to make their camera small was this. The Hasselblad camera is 6x6, but it's 6x6, namesake. But when you measure the actual image area, is something like 58 or 56 by 56, slightly smaller. So because of that, everything else is smaller. The body size, everything is smaller. But this one is bigger. It's like closer to 6x6, maybe 58. So because of that, everything else becomes bigger. Now, it is a modular camera, as you can see. You got lens, but this lens got no focusing mount. It's just the lens with the aperture. The focusing is done by this wheel here, and you go more than one turn. You can keep going endless. You keep on going and going, there's a bellow there, and you can go right until it stops. Not only that, you remember the view camera have this principle. If you line up the image plane, the lens plane, and the subject plane so that they intersect at one point, that you get the maximum depth of field wide open. So if you put the lens like 2.8 wide open, normally the depth of field is shallow. But when you make the film plane and the lens plane and the subject plane all to coincide together, you can shift this. You can shift this. You can shift it up, you can shift it down. So when you do that, you are able to get point-to-point sharp with wide open. So you can put it back to normal, clicks in here. So this is the focusing. Got a large depth of field scale here. So the lens itself got no focusing mount. So you mount the red and red together and give a twist. Now, if you want to do super macro, you reverse the lens. This camera comes with a built-in reverse adapter. So you can reverse mount the lens red to red. And now, when you crank it to the max, you can photograph this water bottle cap alone, just the cap at about this distance, without having to spend any dollar more on anything, because it's all built in. The bellow extension is built in, the reverse adapter is built in. So you got macro photography as part of the package. So crank it back and put back the lens in the normal position. Red. Yeah. Of course, this is the film back 6x6. You get 12 exposure with a dark slide. Then you got a cloth focal plane shutter. Crank it, you can shoot. Cloth focal plane shutter. 1000 to 1 second and B. So of course, being a cloth shutter, the sync speed is not so fast, maybe like 30, but it's okay, not a big problem. Then you have a slow speed, 1 second. So this camera should be in the 60s, 70s, but good as new. This specimen is like pristine, like it just came out from the factory an hour ago. And everything is put, you hold this in your left, you can get your finger to get ready with the release, and you kaboom. Then of course you got the hood, focusing hood. You can't believe the brightness of the screen image. Very bright. Of course you can pop this up to have a closer view. Then this one you can also take out. So you take this out, you have option to put the eye level finder. Of course the focusing screen you can change. Now most eye level finder is like this. You look this way, and because if you want to take a wide angle shot and you don't have enough space, if you back yourself against the wall like this, you still got this about 1 foot distance that is wasted. On the Rollie, the eye level prism can rotate. You rotate it, so you look at the side and you place the camera right to the wall and you can look at it this way. See? It got all kind of tricks up the sleeve. I had the privilege of playing with this camera when I was a schoolboy, a teenager. As a teenager, I was joining the camera club, and one of my classmates who come from a well-to-do family, so he brought the Hasselblad to the school, and he brought the Rollie to school. This one, this same one. So I took advantage of it. I brought a roll of film and put it in and took picture. So that was my first experience with this camera. Now this is the SL66. Later on, they improve it. You can find they have a SL66E. What additional function they put in was a TTL metering and the TTL flash metering. But everything else was the same. So if you have a SL66E, you got a better metering system. But even this is already very good. SL66, you use a handheld meter and it's very good.
How much was this camera?
I believe it's more than a Hasselblad. It is almost like 2 arms and 2 legs.
And the lens is made by who?
Lens made by Zeiss, planar. The same set of lenses that Hasselblad used. But what Rollie did is when they took the lens back to their factory, they added this Rollie HFT coating, high fidelity transmission coating. So they improve on it. So the focal length to focal length, they have the same exact equivalent for the Hasselblad series. So Hasselblad got a planar 82.8. This Rollie also have a planar 82.8. So they match each other almost focal length to focal length. But this one, if I were to put these two side by side without betting an eye, I will go for this. So this is Rollie. Of course, later on they have other model. This is the focal plane system camera. Later on, they come up with the SLX, a groundbreaking camera. They use a lens shutter, but this lens shutter is controlled electronically by motor, linear motor, not the motor that spin, the motor that just move in, linear motor. So they use the linear motor to open and close the shutter and the aperture. And the first model, SLX, has a built-in film transport. Only thing was the film magazine was not changeable. You can change the insert, but not the magazine. So, but when you load it in, you got sequence shooting and auto exposure. Then from that, they move on to the SL6000 series, 6008, 6006. That was the super duper of the medium format SLR, more advanced than Hasselblad. You have automatic exposure, you can have a power film drive, and the last one, before they stopped, SL6008, they added autofocus into it. So it's a medium format autofocus camera. Then they have a special device. You can connect it to the camera that controls the opening and closing of the shutter in rapid succession. So the film can stay the same, but the shutter open and close, you actually create the stroboscopic effect without having to use a strobe light. So you want to take a picture of a ballerina dancing, you can have all the multiple exposure. So you can have that. Then they have a master controller grid here that controls everything. So very advanced.
Wow, great, Mr. Wu. I think the subscribers will love this, especially the old timers.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wu.
Welcome.
Huh? Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.